Hi, welcome to Worldwide Canadian, and today a road trip to Sydney, Nova Scotia to go camping in my Ford F-150 Lightning. Stick around. So I left Bridgewater about 45 minutes ago, and I'm 75 kilometers in, and just a quick stop for a McDonald's break for breakfast. And then we're heading off to Sydney, Nova Scotia. From Bridgewater, it's about 450 kilometers total. And we'll be camping there overnight tonight and tomorrow night. It is a little cold out right now. It is 9 degrees, and we're expecting some good temperatures for later in the day and clearing skies. So by the time we get there, we'll be able to set up camp. And also, we're going to be charging twice on this trip. Once at Enfield for about 25 minutes, and then about an hour at the new chargers at the Bayside Service Center. And I'll give you an update as we go through our day. So Ford trip planning has changed the stop to the Needs in Stellarton, Nova Scotia. And it says I need to charge for about 15 minutes there to get from 26 to 36%. So I can make that Bayside Travel Center charger and do a long charge for an hour and 15 minutes. So we'll check in with you when we get to Stellarton. So we're 120 kilometers into our trip to Sydney, Nova Scotia from Bridgewater. And we've stopped for a quick stop here at Enfield. And we're just charging up to about 80% to continue on to Stellarton, Nova Scotia. We may be able to skip Stellarton, so that's what I'm doing here. I had to stop anyway. In any case, I'm going to continue on the trip and see how things go. It is a little bit rainy right now, but it's expected to be clearing off by this afternoon, just in time for me to set up my truck tent, which will go right on the back of the truck. And I did come prepared this time. It's going to get down to about 4 degrees overnight, but I'm going to be toasty warm inside the back of the tent. I have an electric heater as well. So I just finished in Enfield, and I have a 257 kilometer range to get 197 kilometers. That charge was just about 10 minutes total, just long enough for me to go inside. And I'm heading out now, and I can skip Stellarton and head straight to Bayside Service Center, and I'll let you know when I get there. Well, we've arrived in Stellarton, and we arrived with about 35%, and I plugged in a few minutes ago. We're getting a 40 kilowatt charge, and then we're going to head off to Bedeck. Now, the reason I'm using flow chargers is a big conversation, which I'll let you know about. So lately I've been looking at the cost of charging, and I've decided that I don't always need the fastest charge. So, for instance, if I were going to rate chargers in Nova Scotia, I would start with the most expensive, being either the new Nova Scotia Power chargers that they're installing, which are costing about 65 cents per kilowatt hour, or Bedford Commons Electrify Canada, which are right about that price. And the Enfield charger is a perfect example of something that's got a fairly good speed of charging, but yet a reasonable price per kilowatt hour. It works out to between 25 and 30 cents a kilowatt hour. So that's half price. And then the oldest chargers, which are running between, well, the maximum they run is 50, which were the original flow chargers. They're $15 an hour. So based on $15 an hour, for this particular charge that I'm doing here, I'm going to be looking at $7 for a charge. Whereas if I charged at the one in Bayside, it might be closer to $30 for that same charge. So, I mean, I'm just deciding now that, you know, I have some time to take a break. I'm actually going to take a little bit of a nap, and In 35 minutes, I'll be charged enough to make it to the next charger, which is in Bedeck. And that gives me, an opportunity to kind of save on the budget and also have a more restful trip. So I'll let you know how this goes. I did stop at Enfield and charge for about 10 minutes, as I said earlier, and that cost me less than $6. So my goal is to basically do it the most cost-effective way, and I have lots of time built into my schedule to take these regular stops. So I'll check back with you later on the trip and let you know where we're going and how it's working. So I've arrived at Bayside Entertainment, and I've plugged into these tritium chargers, and I'm getting right now 65 kilowatt speed, so that's not too bad. I need at least an 80% charge here, and then I'll move on to the next place. I'll give you a little view of this location here. And inside they have a Tim Hortons and a Mary Brown's, and if you like the lotto machines, they have that, and they have full service gas over there. So it's a good location to stop for sure. Now what's interesting is I don't know how I'm being charged for this, because I've started the machine and it didn't ask me for any credit card information. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. I'm now charging, and it's a good spot for me to have a lunch. So I'm going to head off and do that, and I'll let you know what happens and how long it takes to charge to 80%. I arrived with about 19% when I got here, so I'm going to get a pretty good charge. I need at least 200 kilometers to make it to Sydney. I'll check back in with you a little later. So I'm getting a pretty good charge here. I am now at 68% and still charging at 71 kilowatts. Now I'm planning to go to Sydney, and if I left right now, I'd have 11% approximately, according to Ford. So I like to put a little bit of an extra buffer in. Plus, I'm not sure I'm actually getting billed for this charge, and I originally said I was going to charge for an hour here. I've had lunch and had a good break, and the charge is going very, very smoothly. There are two chargers here, both with two handles. The maximum each handle will give is 75, and it is dynamic. So this charger, if you look very carefully, the one I'm charging on says I'm getting the 70 something, and there's 25 available for the other handle. So I'm not sure if another car pulled in whether it would drop my rate or whether it would just offer them the 25, but it's kind of a neat way to do it with these tritium chargers here at Bayside Travel Center. So it looks like this is going to be a great charge, and I've had a restful rest, and I'm going to get on the rest of my journey, and I'll check in with you later. So I'm just getting ready to finish the charge here. I've gone from 19% to just about 80%. I will hit 80% before I stop, and it's a very smooth place to charge. I do like it. It is slower than the 350s that Electrify Canada has and the 180s at Irving's, but it is a good location for us along the way to Cape Breton. And I had a lunch while I was here, so I've spent exactly an hour by the time I get everything done here. And I'm ready to disconnect now. It's starting to drop back because I've hit 80%. So we'll do a stop, and then we'll get this handle out. I may have to unlock the car. And that was a successful charge. So that cost me about $30 total. And that's going to give me enough to get all the way to Sydney. So I'll check in when I get there. I'm going to head to Membertou in Sydney to charge there, so I have lots for while I'm camping. I'll check in when I get there. when I woke this morning and So I'm just pulled over making myself some tea. I'm about 20 minutes from my next charge stop in Sydney. I found a little pull in here where I could stop and heat up some water for tea. And I'll continue on my way. That's one of the best features of the F150 Lightning. You have power in the front, and then I got a little induction burner, and I will make my tea. It saves me a lot of extra stops. So here I am at the end of my trip at Member 2, just topping up so I have enough battery juice to run whatever I need at the campsite tonight overnight. This is a $30 charge here because Nova Scotia Power, in their wisdom, have installed 180 kilowatt chargers, and they are charging 64 cents a kilowatt hour. It's the most expensive charging that I've done, and I would only use this as a last resort, and unfortunately Sydney has very few charging opportunities, and McIntyre Chevrolets, who used to have great charging, upped their prices twice since I charged there last, and right now it's even more than this one, so I won't use their 50 kilowatt charger either. So if you're listening to me out there, Nova Scotia Power, when you're charging 18 cents a kilowatt hour to a customer at home and then charging 64 for drivers, it seems a little bit out of line to me. But that's just my opinion. I'll follow up with the setup at the campsite as soon as I'm done. Looked outside my window, saw the sun as it began to shine. I thought of all the people all around the world and wondered if their view was quite as fine. How could they be as lucky as me to be in Nova Scotia by the sea? I have traveled this country from sea to shining sea. Nova Scotia is the place I want to be. What a scenery. So it's the next day and it's a gorgeous morning. I've made some hot water for tea. Just about 6:30, the sun is up and it's a beautiful day out on the water. I spent a great night sleeping with a heater and very warm, very comfortable. Hi there, good morning. I'm Tim Clark and I've made it through my night. It's about 6:30 here and I'm down by the water for a little tea break. Made tea this morning in the frunk of the truck. Had a pretty good night's sleep too. I had a heater in the back of the truck for the night, which allowed me to stay really toasty warm. Also, I used about 12% of my battery because I ran that heater a little higher because it was 40 km/h winds. And I'm down on the shoreline right now, enjoying some sun and a morning tea while I watch the ferry from Newfoundland come across and dock at the harbor. I took that ferry many, many times as I lived in northern Newfoundland in St. Anthony for 5 years. And I'm just enjoying an early morning, and I'll give you some more updates as we travel along. I've seen some people as they make the choice to leave, and it seems that they have made themselves believe. Everything seems harder here, and soon they are deceived, and they look to other places for their dreams. How could they be as lucky as me to be in Nova Scotia by the sea? I have traveled this country from sea to shining sea. Nova Scotia is the place I want to be. When we were younger, we felt the same way, and we wandered, trying to find our place. But there always seemed to be a longing in our heart for the beauty and comfort of this space. How could they be as lucky as me to be in Nova Scotia by the sea? I have traveled this country from sea to shining sea. Nova Scotia is the place I want. So I'm on the first leg of my trip. My first stop was 11 kilometers to get to Membertou, and we have these brand new dual handle 180 kilowatt chargers at this great facility here in Membertou. And this is going to make a lot of difference for people traveling from Halifax to Sydney. And I'm going to show you the facility here in a moment. The charging here is the same as the other ones that I used at Masstown the last time. If you check a video out, you'll see that a little while ago. They are expensive at 64 cents a kilowatt hour, but they do charge at a good speed. I'm getting 134 kilowatt right off the bat in this Ford Lightning. And the facility behind me here is quite nice as well. They have a convenience store with the gas pumps for Petro-Canada. They have washrooms in the middle. And they also have a McDonald's right here. And a car wash if you want to do a car wash after you charge. And inside the washrooms are quite nice, and lots of facility here to spend your time while you're charging. And it's going to be a well-used site here in Membertou. It's very close to the hospital, which is now just across the street here, and also to the rest of Sydney and shopping. So this is a great charging stop, and with the 4 handles they have here, 2 people can charge at the same time at 90 kilowatts each. And so it's going to help with people traveling. Well, I've been charging for 15 minutes and I'm almost done. I'm going to Bayside Travel Center, which is 170 kilometers from here. And I'm putting an extra 40 kilometers just in case. And I've put in 31 kilowatt hours so far. So I'm doing pretty darn good on this charge. I don't need to go much higher though, so I'm going to head off to Bayside Travel Center. Well, I made it back to Bridgewater, and I spent $140 total in charging while I was on the road. And I drove 1,000 kilometers, and that cost of charging also included the power that I consumed at my overnight camping to run heating and cooking for the 2 days that I was away. So not bad for a trip. I did enjoy it, and had no problems with charging whatsoever. There's a huge number of chargers now in Nova Scotia that weren't there last year. So that makes traveling across the province much easier. Well, if you could use that thumbs up to like and subscribe to my channel, and click that bell icon so you know when I upload new content. See you next time right here on Worldwide Canadian.